side, okay,
Closer to Chickadee Street and to Total.
okay. So when you come off of Chicopee Street, are you on the right side or the left
I
side?
am on the left side. I'm the farthest house up in the hill.
Oh, that's the gravel pit. You're way past the curve.
Past the curve, yep.
You're one of these houses on the hillside?
Yes, I am the first.
Oops, that's
Oh, sorry.
okay.
Okay.
There's
That's
a
me.
dr-
That's
you.
me.
You're gonna
Yeah,
put
that's me
in the
right
pool,
there.
in the backyard.
In the backyard.
I don't see any issues.
Yeah,
She's
it's up on top of the hill.
Yeah.
All right.
Yours is filled out, I believe. Make a motion to approve for a 24-foot above-ground pool on existing lot. All set?
Yes. All right.
You're all set
All right.
from us, at
Thank
least.
you, yes.
Here's some signers.
Okay. And what number, Taylor?
235 Taylor Street,
235.
above-ground pool,
And last
replacing
name is D-E-S.
Desrochers, Desrosiers.
All right. And how big?
It's 27-foot diameter.
Okay, so,
So I made a motion to approve. You're
All right.
saying, should be all set from
All
us
right.
at this point, and then other departments, I don't know what they do, so.
yeah.
All right, thanks. Alan Katowitz is here for a second lot on Chicopee Street, next to the old farm. You know, the red fire.
Okay.
It's
Oh, the one that's
open
cleared and
field.
flattened?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's open field. We've already looked at that before. I'm gonna recuse myself because I worked on the project for Alan,
Yeah.
but I don't see.
Alan, why don't you come up, please? Grab a comfy chair if you want.
Did you wanna look at the phone?
What?
Did you want my phone?
I'm pretty sure it's the lot that's just been leveled and the excavator and everything's sitting there.
Yeah,
Is that the one?
well, no, it's around the corner.
It's right here.
Oh, all right, so the other ones are right here that I'm looking. Oh, all right,
He's over here now.
okay. So do we have a brook here or anything?
Nope.
No? That's not a brook right here? No? That's a power line? What's
No,
that?
it's a
That
trail.
looks like, is that wetlands?
But we already went through this
Yeah, we went through that one?
last time.
Okay.
What's going on?
He's looking for a building pit plan over on Red Fire,
Chicopee Street. Oh, okay.
Chicopee Street.
Right, so where's the wetlands? None at all there?
I was looking at what this was, right there.
So you're on that lot there?
That's a driveway right here.
Okay.
Alan, this is where you're building right here? Right in that farm area? There's an office like that, things like that. Oh, okay, that's fine then, all right.
So which one?
All right, let's sign.
Okay.
Let's sign off.
All right, so is there an address or lot number? Lot 10?
No address yet, because,
And it's on Kendall Street? Chicopee. Chicopee Street. And let's see. How do you spell your last name?
K-O-T-O, W-I-C-C, A-L-A-N.
Old school.
Okay.
Oh, that's fine. Actually took it 2 hour weather this afternoon on Arc Hydro and Arc DEL, which is kind of
GIS stuff.
it's all international.
I think we're all
I
set.
think so.
Alan, good to see you.
Thank you.
Anyone else
How
here?
did you go to the Belmont? You didn't go to the Belmont, did you?
Anybody else here for building permits?
Got a triple crown or
You have a building permit? Come in and sign in, please.
Billy. Yeah, and he, of course, that was before the bill.
You can use the second sheet if you want, or that sheet's fine. I just need your name, property address, and phone number.
All of us.
So I started doing this, crossing
Yeah,
up.
that's fine.
We don't need Casey and Lewis on this. So, can I make a motion that we pay the MACC?
Yeah, we're coming up on 7 o'clock, so
Okay.
we can, let's hear the building permit. How you doing?
Okay.
Good, and your name is? Frank. Frank, Jennifer Drive, okay, yeah.
So. we're
What
doing
number,
this-
Jennifer Drive?
One.
We're doing, this is the existing house here, existing garage.
Yep.
We're doing a dining room addition off the back.
Sure.
And a little breezeway connector to the garage.
Are you a friend of Lenny Halfridge? Lenny lives up the street from you.
Sounds familiar.
Yes, he lives at, I think, 9, number 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
The last thing we did was a little shed, and they had,
Yeah,
I think
that's
there's
fine.
wetlands kind of.
Yeah, yeah, I know where they are, sure.
Do we have you do a NOI or RDA or anything?
Not for that.
There's a bridge that's nearby, but it's quite a ways from his house.
Yeah, this GIS stuff here is really. Let me search for it. Search. What is it, one Jennifer?
Well, Jennifer.
Do you have the town form for
That's
a
some-
permit?
One Jennifer Drive.
I didn't fill that out though. Talking about for the website plan thing.
Building permit. There's a top sign-off form.
Oh.
Yes. Can you please fill out the top?
Did you call me about 4 o'clock?
I've tried, yes, I've tried.
Because I was in a webinar.
There's no
Couldn't answer
wetlands
the
on
phone.
that lot.
No, he's
Or
fine.
not, it's over an existing deck.
Yeah.
area, it looks
Where
like.
is it?
Yeah, Jennifer, his house is right here, or is it right here?
No,
Oh, it's right there, okay, on that corner, okay, okay. Yeah, the bridge, the little bridge is, yeah, actually the bridge is
But
right here.
this is the wetlands back here?
Yeah, so he's fine.
So you're staying in the grass?
He's well away
Yes.
from, he's well away from, yeah, that's fine.
So I make a motion, we sign the building permit for one Jennifer Drive for the extension of the building.
Second. In favor, aye.
So it's a sunroom, you said?
Dining.
Dining room? Dining room?
Oh, we don't need that, no.
What's the size of it?
It's 14 by 20.
By 20. And what's it called? And you're putting an extension to the shed?
No.
Oh,
What's that called? Breezeway.
We're not attached to dwelling.
And breezeway. Okay. It was Frank?
It was.
Okay.
I didn't recognize you at first, I said, oh, how's things going, good? Good. See ya. Good luck,
All right.
thanks.
Building permit for 21 Ferry Hill Road as of a shed for in a couple weeks.
All right, did you bring the application with you?
No, I have not brought the application with me.
Okay.
We did get approved for a remodeling of a bathroom, and well, the building inspector did approve of our.
What
of our-
size is a shed?
Same as his.
Are there some forms, Wayne? There might be some forms over there.
Gray house, red roof used to be the white house, the red roof.
Ah, son of a gun. I didn't think we were doing building permits for sheds under a certain size. Yeah, the tree cover on the photo is not,
Is it the house across from?
It's Ferry, 21 Ferry Hill Road, gray house, red roof.
Oh, you're across from where Marilyn Stewart used to live.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I know where it is, yes, I know exactly where you are.
what size is the shed?
The same as his, 14 by something.
Yeah, there's no wetlands there.
There's no permit either, I don't think. Not from us.
Yeah, well, here's the
Yeah, he has
permit.
to have a,
You-
he
you
has to
gotta
have a
fill it
shed,
out.
fill
You
out
gotta
a
fill
shed.
that out.
So can you please fill out this information?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
21 Ferry Hill.
Yes,
Name.
crossing the old Stewarts. hold on.
Sure.
Date, today's date.
10th, July 10th.
Yes, I know it's July.
What number, Ferry Hill?
21. We already had it in address.
And we're doing a shed?
Doing a shed where, you know what I mean, we're not specific on the day, but you know what I mean.
14 by something, typically 14 by 18.
14 by like a 7.
I'd put 14 by 16 just in case.
Yeah, exactly.
They can always, it's not.
They can always like move it.
Building
Yeah, the
inspector,
building code, 200 square feet and under doesn't require a building
that's what I
permit.
said.
Oh, all right.
But I think Granby, it's required even for something smaller, it's a state building code.
All right, let's see.
Whatever.
What's your last name?
Connolly, Connolly.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve for a 14 by 16 shed on 21 Ferry Hill?
Second,
Aye.
yes.
Thank you.
In favor, it's,
Where do we need to write what it is?
Sometime around like in the fall when it gets a little cooler, like around September.
14 by 16 shed.
Before the snow falls,
For the snowfall,
Yeah.
exactly. I want to get it
which
done.
is about a 2-week window these days.
Here you go, Linda.
8-week window, I think, because we had a really last year short winters.
Did you sign in?
Yeah, we got it right here.
Okay, all right,
It's right here, see?
I'm also here for another meeting that's coming up at 7. I think.
okay,
If I'm 100% correct.
okay.
So, all right, 7:05, we got 7:30 as a public hearings. Let's go through these stuff real quick. I'm gonna skip commentary. Let's post the next meeting for July 24th, 2018.
Okay, so, let's see.
Let's change it to 7 o'clock.
7 PM.
Yeah, let's try 7. Because Amanda's having trouble getting here.
All right, so be it. Approve the minutes for May 22nd, June 12th, and the 22nd.
I wrote the June 12th, they're on the computer if you want to download them in.
We'll
Granby
save
got it.
that.
I guess we'll just, wait for that,
We'll
right?
save that. We're all set. If you want, you can come back at, your next thing for, Ms. Humphrey.
All right, yes, absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Bills to pay. Let's get your bills out here.
Have this one for MACC.
MACC, Massachusetts Association of Conservation Commissioners, a invoice for $281 for membership. You have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 members.
I crossed out the 2 people no longer.
I see that.
Does that include the conference in the spring?
Does not.
No,
Conference is always
Is
extra.
that true?
yeah, that's just. Says we have a bill here.
It's fine.
Maggie-
I move we pay it.
Made a motion, Bill made a motion to pay. I'll second.
All second,
Linda?
and third, all in favor?
Aye. So have Kathy submit a check for $281, please.
Do you have the yellow folder?
It's right over there.
see a yellow Kathy
We used to have the yellow folder.
It's all right, we'll
That's all right.
take care of it.
Just put a post-it on
Other bills?
There says there's one here for the fishing derby.
there. Yeah, the fishing people called me. They wanted their annual donation of $100. They told me to take care of it.
When's the derby?
It was during Charter Day.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's fine. So is that a motion,
Yes. Move that we pay $100 to the
Boy Scouts,
Boy Scouts.
for the fishing derby? Second.
All right,
All in favor?
Aye.
all right, so
Okay, so we made a motion on that.
Kathy, is it K or a C?
C.
So we need to sign both things, right?
Do we have, I don't have an invoice, but yeah,
Just put approved.
$100
Put approved and initial it in today's date.
for fishing derby. Okay.
Show that if you had a chance, please. Show that. Any other bills to pay?
That's all I saw listed here.
Yeah, I didn't see anything else.
We got all the stuff I was trying to like kind of look through.
Okay,
Yeah, we had a disbursement item from Nally. These people want the remainder of their deposit back.
yeah,
Okay.
if the project's done, that's fine.
Yeah.
We can issue that. Any
Which
fi-
project's that?
We'll go over that, it's coming up.
The permitting's done. The permitting's done.
Financial accounts were all set, I didn't see anything up there. I don't see anything in the accounts.
No.
Just fine. I won't see anything, we probably won't see anything for a while. So, we have a letter from town treasurer.
Excellent.
So we'll just
This is what we went through.
Oh, by the way, I also need a permit to cut down trees in my house, on my yard. Do you guys get permits for that as well?
We'll have to bring that up a little later, okay?
Thank you.
No, no problem.
That was the extension for Munsinger Ridge.
Bill, you said you saw a letter from Mr. Nally regarding the next amp.
Yes.
What's the balance that they're asking for?
I think, they deposited 10,000 into the escrow account. I think Ty and Bond spent on the order of 4,000 to 5,000 on review.
Sure.
So they're looking for the balance of their funds to be returned.
Is that the solar project over at
Yeah,
Dickinson?
that's the Dickinson Farm Solar Project.
No, that hasn't started.
That has not
Well,
started.
here's the thing. We issued a permit. We issued a requirement for review for permit only. So there's no demand that Ty and Bond go out during construction.
Inspection.
Yeah, this is for permitting only, and the permitting's complete, because we issued the notice of intent.
Was that what the request for monies was for permitting?
Yes.
For the review
Yeah,
process?
well, yeah, that's why they deposited the 10,000 for the permitting, and they obtained the
Could we-
permit.
Can we table this for now?
Oh, yes, of course.
Because maybe,
We need to talk about inspections and
Yeah.
monitoring.
That's
because
fine,
we're gonna
that's
still
fine.
need
That's
inspections
fine,
and
that's
monitoring.
fine.
If that's gonna happen.
I think the
Do you
understanding
know
was,
why it hasn't happened yet? Has anybody heard?
who knows?
Don't know.
You know, those things slow roll and then they happen very quickly.
All right.
So we're gonna
So-
table the.
Yeah, that's fine, at least we
table-
discussed, at least we discussed it. The Nally letter's not included in the correspondence?
I didn't see it.
I don't see anything.
No, I don't see it. It's not that. That's
No,
another
this is
project.
for a PV on Kendall Street, 0 Kendall? So we
Talk
gotta
under
look
new,
at that.
that'll go under new business, I'm guessing. We'll take a look at that. 712, Bill, you had talked to somebody regarding Forge Pond. Is this under his
Are you
appointments?
folks here, how many people are from Forge Pond? Who did I talk to on the telephone? Okay, nice to meet you, Dory, thanks for coming up. If you wanna come up and sit, or if you wanna sit there and we can have a joint discussion, that would be fine.
What's going on with Forge? Oh,
Here's the problem with
This is an
Forge
informal
Pond.
discussion,
oh,
Yeah, this is just informational.
informational rather, sorry.
We've been mandated by the Commonwealth to repair or remove Forge Pond Dam. They're deeming it a public safety hazard.
When did this happen?
This happened within the past 2 years.
Within the past few years?
Yes, yes. So the problem is, and we've had an engineer that we've hired to do periodic inspections. Unfortunately, the dam has received a poor grade from a structural perspective, so it needs to be either repaired or replaced, or
Or
demolished,
demolished.
one of the three. Anticipated cost for the repair is, as we had talked, over $1 million. There are funds available from the Commonwealth to do the demolition. There's a movement across the state to do dam demolishments or dismantlements. That's a state-funded operation. if we do the dismantlement of the dam, I believe we'll receive up to 90% of the project funds to execute the work. Now, I know you all live on the pond, and it's a beautiful pond, and you want to keep it. Two things can happen if you want to fix the dam. Again, we have to raise the money. You have to raise the money to do this. You have to go to town meeting and get $1 to $2 million appropriated, or you could talk to your local legislators, Goldman Rose, Mr. Goldman Rose, or your state senators, or Charlie Baker's office, and try to persuade them to give the town a grant to actually fix the dam. I think that's a tough road to hoe, but it's worth a try, believe me.
That's under a phase 2 study, though?
Yeah, well, that's the phase 2, and then you get the remedial action.
So we have to have engineering
Again,
drawings.
you could talk to our selectmen as well, but I think you really have to talk to someone that has the pocketbook to get this work done. But the only, if we don't have the money to repair the dam or rebuild the dam, the only alternative to remain in good faith with the Commonwealth is to dismantle the dam. Because we can't let the thing just sit there in a bad state of repair. It's a public safety hazard.
But at this point in time, there's so much wildlife on the pond that's.
I realize that, I realize that.
And much of it is probably endangered. And things like that.
Well, I don't know exactly about what the endangered species are in Forge Pond. We might do some map investigations. But Amanda Smith, who's not here tonight, she's actually done some research. And around the state, certain water bodies with dams have been flagged as strong candidates for dismantlement. Forge Pond is one of them.
Who did that?
The DCR, Department of Conservation Recreation. It's on the DCR website. If you peruse the DCR website and look under dam removal projects or proposed candidates for dam removal projects, you'll see Forge Pond listed as a red dot on the map. And the rationale from the Department of Ecological Restoration, which is an arm of DEM, which is like DEP, is to restore the waterways to their natural state prior to industrialization in the late 19th century. As you know, Forge Pond Dam was built pursuant to the tissue paper factory that, Ed, when was that built? In the late 1800s?
1770.
It's old.
Oh, it is, it is that old.
But it's been
Okay.
repaired through the years. That's not the
Yeah.
original dam,
No,
I'm
no,
guessing.
that's when they made the dam.
Yeah.
As far as
So again, the state wants to take all those old hydro dams. That dam does not serve as a flood control dam. That's another kettle of fish. If we're a flood control dam, all bets are off. This dam was developed and built as a water power dam to provide contained water to run turbines to turn wheels for mechanical power. So this is a water power dam at one time. So again, Ecological Restoration, DEM, have deemed this to be a strong candidate for dismantlement. Again, unless we can come up with $1 million plus to repair it. That's the problem.
So the fact that there's the ecosystem there that with all the wildlife has no bearing on them?
Not really, not really.
Well, that's part of the study, though. They'll do a study.
Of course, and they've already looked at it. Yeah, DEM, DCR has already evaluated that. They wouldn't give us a red flag check mark if they haven't evaluated the flora and fauna on the dam.
It's the third year we've had bald eagles.
Really?
Which is amazing.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
cool.
And it's I would say, maybe the fourth year I could count 4 blue heron there.
Yeah.
That live there.
That live there.
Wow,
And,
wow.
I have a whole list because I observe the nature all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
We have quite an
yeah.
extensive.
Well, again, if you folks elect to go to the state rep and the state senators and the governor's office,
I don't know if you
Pose
guys
these comments to
could
their,
form a group
effect.
or something too, and get a grant.
Hold on.
I got Senator Eric Lester's phone number.
Hold on. Hold on for a second. Everybody, hold on. If you're gonna talk, please give me your name and address, please, so at least we know who we're talking to. So that way, just for the record, I know we're being televised.
yeah, let me just finish a few closing comments. In a perfect world, if we had the money to allocate to repair the dam, it would be terrific. But as you probably know, the town of Granby is not in terribly good financial straits at this time. Again, you've probably seen your property taxes go up. If they have to appropriate another $1 to $2 million to repair the dam, that certainly would increase taxes for folks in town. And the way the town deals with these situations are they go to town meeting. So you folks and maybe some of your colleagues would vote yay, but a lot of folks that are strapped for money in town would vote nay. And that's just the democratic way that they would address this particular problem. So,
Hold on. The young lady behind you, which name and address, please?
Victoria Gallows, 21 Forge Pond Road.
Okay.
So I just want clarification. So, like, the option is either to, like, restore the dam or to get rid of it. If they were to get rid of it, would that just mean they would completely drain it and there would be nothing there? Or would they, like, refill it and restock it and make it a fresh flowing river?
Here's another case in town. Up off of 116 in the northwest corner of Granby, there's a pond that used to be called Quinneville Pond. Quinneville Pond Dam actually breached inadvertently about 5 years ago. The dam drained. The dam was owned by a private party. The private party, in concert with DEM, DEP, DCR, and the commission, elected to allow him not to repair or touch that particular dam structure or sluice gate. Today, if you go to Quinneville Pond, it's a little river with a marsh area, and again, flora and fauna abound. It's actually a beautiful little area. It did smell for about 1 month after the draining period because all the organic sediment had to break down, but it's quite a nice area at this time. If Forge Pond went through the same process, and this would be a formal process of dismantling the dam, again, you would have the lowering the water table over a very slow period, and the organic material would break down, and essentially you'd turn back into a river environment, which was the predecessor to the tissue paper factory. So that's the mechanics of what would happen. But again, if you want to try to raise the $1 million or $2 million to repair the structure, I would certainly be in favor of that, but I don't think any of us on the commission are in a position to write a check for $1 million today.
And we own, the town owns the dam, right?
Yeah, well, that's the problem. We're being mandated by the state to do something, and the do somethings are repair it or remove it. Those are the two options. Yes, ma'am.
Mary Bellows, Forge Pond. You're gonna drain it, get the dam out, okay? And so there'll be a little trickle of water coming through?
There would be just the natural flow that would have occurred from Lamson Brook and Belchertown through that riverine area.
Does anyone know this yet?
We haven't even talked about,
It's
there's no
essentially,
studies at this point.
it's the same static flow that would occur during a non-rain event. So if you have 30 cubic feet per second today without rain for a week, you'd essentially have the same
The
flow.
reason I ask is I know water seeps its own level, and when they drained the pond twice over the period of time that I've been there, okay, I had to have someone come in and sink my point down in order to.
Well, that's what, Dora, we had to discuss that. I think a lot of folks have shallow wells and well points, so those would have to be dealt with accordingly. So that.
Would that be dealt with?
Well, I think the reasonable thing to do would, there'd be some agreement that the town or some party would have to pay for at least a portion of that well modification, certainly. You don't want to be stuck high and dry, no pun intended. But again, that's essentially small money in comparison to $1 million or $2 million project.
Hold on, is there, you had,
Mark Sell at 23 School Street. My deed states that I actually own 245 feet of water rights to Forge Pond. What would happen with that situation if they drain the pond?
Well, Ed's a registered land surveyor, and he appears in land court all the time, so Ed's the ideal man to answer this one. Ed?
I haven't read his deed, so I couldn't tell you. Your deed says probably bounded by Forge Pond, I'm guessing.
It just says 245.
245 feet. If,
That constitutes a rapid drawdown. which would.
Yeah, but he'd
negate
still
the
own
transfer.
along the bank that's there today. If it was drawn down, that bank would probably still be clearly marked. That would be your property line, because the town ended up buying the rest of the pond, so the town owns the
Yeah,
pond.
My property is like in between all the town property,
Right,
you know, and then obviously the tire wall, retaining wall is an issue on my side of the lower part of the dam. It's, back in the fifties, they made a retaining wall out of tires. It's now deteriorated.
sure.
That's the actual problem with the dam, more than the dam itself.
Right. Right. There's a lot of issues there
And
shown.
that
It's
actually
just,
is my property, I'm having, I'm gonna actually speak with you at a later date about a foundation repair. You, Mr. Sheen, you know what I'm speaking of. Because I have to have the foundation
Yeah,
repaired.
he lives on the house right
Right.
next to the dam.
Next to
My
the dam.
living room is 6
Yeah.
feet off the edge of the water.
Yeah. And as we were talking on the phone the other day, as you all know, the inertia of government is very high, and it rotates very slowly. So even today, if we were to say we're going to initiate the dam removal, I would bet it would take 5 to 10 years for this to happen.
Oh,
It's going to take a long time.
been
It's
a
going
long
to,
time
believe me,
already.
it's going to take a long time. It's
So-
going to take a long time.
So, can I ask a question?
name that, name?
Dory Govan, Forge Gun
Okay.
Road. Two questions. The town has absolutely no money to work on this project at all? I mean, there's nothing in reserve or anything that?
We had $99,000 appropriated to actually use to work on Dufresne's Dam. We could take that $99,000 and transfer it to Forge Pond Dam. I talked to Christopher Martin about that some time ago. But again, if you're talking a $1 to $2 million project, 99,000 doesn't go real far. That's the problem.
Most of
So-
it would probably go for design at that
Well, of
point.
course it would. The design would probably be
100,000.
at least 100,000. And again, the problem is, for the balance of the money, we either have to obtain it from the state through grants or raise it locally at town meeting. And again, people at town meeting, particularly in this day and age of finance, aren't too willing to press the button.
My other question is, where are we right now in the process? So, is there more work that you have to do? I understand
We-
there's something that you have to work on.
Every, 6
Well,
months?
right
we
now,
have phase one?
we're in the phase one evaluation. The state actually wants us to go to phase two, which is essentially a preliminary design and evaluation and investigative stage, which will run about $50,000.
What does that do?
That essentially does some pre-engineering to determine soil conditions, some particular geometric constraints, the thickness of the concrete, the size of the dam.
Potential remediations.
Yeah, potential remediation options, the levels of the dam, high and low, the flow rate of the dam, watershed feeding the dam. So these are preliminary engineering estimates. That will then say, okay, we have all this information, then we can go to remedial design. And remedial design will either consist of repairing the dam or dismantling the dam. But it looks like they want that $50,000 study, regardless of whether we go to a remedial design or a dam removal.
So right now, you're looking at, trying to work towards that phase two piece, right, or work on that?
Yes,
phase
yeah,
piece?
but again, I don't know if the town is prepared to even spend the $50,000 for that at this time.
We don't have the actual funds, do we? It's not coming out of
No,
our
no,
budget.
no,
It's gotta come out of some budget.
yeah, yeah.
And it's not, we don't have that in
Yeah.
our funds to
Yeah.
budget for
Okay,
dam
so that
repair.
comes
So
out of-
somewhere it's coming out of some town fund to do this,
And before it can start, the town has to approve that phase, that we're in that phase?
yeah.
Okay.
That's
Oh,
why,
right
again,
Do you go to town
the
meeting? for
inertia
that?
of town government is
It's gonna
very
probably have to go
slow.
to town meeting.
Yeah.
Very, very
So
slow.
what that does basically is tell the town how much that they're going to, it's gonna cost both to either rebuild or replace.
But, yeah, you should potentially get some cost analysis.
Oh, yes, yes. And again, at
So
that
they'll
point,
let
we
you
can
know.
factor in the grant monies that might be available for the dam removal. So again,
So we know there's grant money available for the dam removal, but we don't know that there's grant money available for the dam restoration. restoration.
My understanding is there's not money available for dam restoration. There is money available for dam removal because, again, the marching orders of ecological restoration is to remove as many dams as possible in the state.
So that's where we've looked at this point in time,
Yes.
is at that
Yes.
idea. We haven't looked at any sort of grants for the environmental impact or anything like that.
No. And if you would be willing to assist us with that task, we'd be more than happy to work with you.
So we need to look at environmental grants.
Would you be willing to help us?
Okay, what does that involve?
Searching for
good.
grants.
Good, very good.
See what's out there, hold on.
See what's out there
For-
as far as grants. Do some research, maybe check with,
The
I don't,
local
yeah.
Well, again, talking to your state reps is always a good resource, talking to DCR, talking to the governor's office, talking to a DEM, or DO, what do they call themselves?
DCR, is it?
Well, no, there's another acronym. There's another four-letter acronym.
DCR is Department of Conservation
Yeah,
Recreation.
yeah.
If they own that facility, then they would,
Fix it.
because Aldrich Pond, they repaired that dam, but that took them years to get that through.
Yeah.
That was a
Do you have
long
any info
process.
on that? Who
DCR.
submitted or who's involved in that?
I think it was Ty and Bond did this.
Well, you have to talk to the landowner, his name is Aldridge, Kit Aldridge.
Kit Aldrich?
Yeah, you could actually go to his house and maybe chat with him personally. Yeah, he lives right next to the dam, literally.
Okay, I don't know the area that well.
Okay, okay.
Aldrich Street,
Okay.
so,
And he was instrumental in saving that dam?
Well, I think he secured some state financing to actually have DCR claim ownership of the dam, because it was a very expensive dam to repair as well.
Boy Scouts, I think, was involved. But, okay, kind of wrap this up as shortly.
Couple questions.
Sure, name and address, name,
25 Forest Pond Road.
I'm sorry, first name?
Robert.
Robert, okay.
A couple questions is, I was wondering, we are part of a migration path, and I don't know that it's a primary, but I would say it's probably a secondary primary path. And because we do have so many species that come and go from year to year. But, and that being said, also thinking about that path and how it relates to the water that comes into Fort Pond from Arcadia Lake and also Metacomet. And then there's, I think, 5 or 6 other brooks or whatever that come into it aside. Maybe they're included, I'm not sure. It's been a while since I looked at that. But then the fact that it feeds into Aldrich Lake, and Aldrich Lake feeds into Monholio College. And I'm just wondering, of course we certainly need someone who knows a lot about that, but looking at the impact of the whole area, it's really, to me, not just a town thing. It seems to me it goes into other towns as well. South Hadley, I think part of it goes into Chickpea, and I think that's where it goes into the river. And then you have Belcher County, and I don't know if you have something from before that, but that's part of the reason why it is a migratory path,
Yeah.
Because of that extension. But there's also beavers in Fort Pond, and I just they really are protected. So, there could be a big argument, and we have otters as well. So, the other question I had, if it is drained, what happens to the property? The town owns the
Town
property?
still owns the property.
So what happens to that property? Like, is it protected because it's now a riverbank?
No, currently it's a conservation area.
Okay.
It can only be used for passive recreation. If it's drained, again, this could be 10, 12, 15 years out, it would remain in perpetuity with respect to the Partika land trust. It would still remain protected area.
So there's not gonna be building?
No.
Nope,
Landfill?
no,
No.
no, absolutely not. Absolutely, it's
So
right in
it's-
the deed. You can actually go online, download the deed for that parcel.
I have one other statement, and I was just thinking more in terms of a solution if it ever happened, because that's far off. Are we
Well, that would, again, we'd have to address this. As part of the engineering study, I'm sure part of that engineering study will focus on your wells, and that will factor into the finances of the
Does a
project.
phase two study involve environmental issues like
Yes,
wildlife?
Yes.
Okay, so that might be in the phase two
Well,
study.
actually, not, I don't know about wildlife, but it will focus on the hydrology and the hydrogeologic impacts.
Well, the removal of the dam or any work on the dam requires a permit.
State permit of chapter
Notice-
268.
Well, notice of
permit,
intent
yeah.
also.
Yes, but
So-
a dam safety permit
Sure.
from DCR, yes.
And does that involve wildlife? I'm sorry.
No, yeah, again, I think we're kind of really in the preliminary stage now, so all these questions are good questions, but I don't think we have the answers at this point. You know, we know there's, something needs to be done, whether it needs to be repaired or demolished. We're not gonna do this in private. It's gonna be public hearings, it's gonna be town meetings, it's gonna take a while. So all these questions that you have, you know, will be brought up, I'm sure, and discussed at length. So,
Can you just ask one more question?
the gentleman in the back's had his hand up.
Yes, sir.
Name?
140 School Street. I just happened to be looking at some of the minutes of the prior committees, and I think last January, December 2017, there was a discussion about tree cutting that should have occurred that didn't occur. And if it had occurred, it would have taken from poor to good for the dam condition. Is that tree cutting still an option? Has anyone
I don't
done
know, I don't know if that has happened as of yet.
that? I don't think the tree cutting took place, but if the tree cutting did take place, would that?
I think at this point, the roots have already made their way through the dam. So to recut the trees would basically potentially stop the root growth. To remove the roots would be another issue. You'd probably jeopardize the
I didn't know if the study-
foundation.
But
Maybe you get an inexpensive study to see if the tree removal would still.
I don't think that's just the one thing that would take it from a poor rating.
But to elaborate on your point, if the dam had been kept in a state of good repair over the past 50 years, the dam would have a higher rating, in my opinion.
Well, no, I just have to agree that because
Yeah.
I don't live on the pond.
Yeah,
I just-
yeah, yeah. Yeah. I remember having that discussion with David. I remember him being
So-
talking about that with me. Right, that's right, that's right.
So, one more question then, or one more comment, and we gotta, you know, continue on. Sure.
How can we, I know you, will be talking about it publicly, but how can we know ahead of time when this is something that will be discussed so that we can come?
It will be on the agenda, typically. It will be on our agenda.
And when will we see the agenda?
Usually through the
It
clerk.
should be online or in the clerk's office.
Online or in the clerk?
Yeah, and I think it has to be posted 72 hours prior to the meeting, or 48
Typically,
hours.
our agenda was posted on Friday, this past Friday, with, I believe, the conservation page, and then the clerk's office has to have it, so it's publicly noticed or it's placed on notice. If you wanna call and, you know, maybe ask Kathy to give you a heads up if anything comes up. I'm sure when these talks or these permits start and all this stuff starts, I'm almost positive that everybody will get notified either by certified mail. Because this is gonna be a project that needs to be.
It's gonna take a lot of work.
It's gonna be a public notice and public hearings and, direct abutters will be notified, I'm sure, the activity. It's not gonna be anything in secret. And if you miss it, you know, it's not that we're trying to, you know, hide anything from anybody, it's just that either it just got oversight or, you know, you can ask Kathy to keep you in the loop, but if it gets overlooked, certainly at public hearings, I think we're gonna have to notify abutters within 300 feet, so that's gonna be a lot of notifications going out.
Again, there's a whole series of permits. The major permit is the DCR dam safety permit. That's the permit to actually work in the dam. But again, local conservation's involved, other environmental groups will be involved.
Yeah, so the phase one study and phase two study is really not a public notice, it's just that we're telling the state that this is the condition of the dam.
Yeah.
And here's the engineering report with it, so that gets filed with DCR and they keep track of it.
They review, and it takes them 6 months to review it. So again, the wheels turn very slowly. Did you have a question?
No, I just wanted to state what that poster over there says. It says wetlands, our Commonwealth. So I just think that's important to keep.
Sure.
Very
Yeah,
good, well said.
Again, we're gonna have more meetings, and the wildlife is, you know, a concern of everybody's, I'm sure. And not just yours, but as a commission too, we're concerned with that too, so. But, all right, one more question, then we gotta move on. We've got public hearings, we gotta start on.
What was it? I was hold on to our.
Sure.
Again, Robert Carr speaking, from 25 Forge Pond Road. The idea of trees preventing the dam from more stress that it has from the pressure of the roots seems to be an inexpensive thing if this project's gonna take maybe 5 years to happen.
Yeah.
And it seems like something worthwhile doing is to cut the trees.
Yeah,
And it's a matter of probably, what, at the most $5,000?
Yeah, I don't know whether or not that's the correct solution at this point. We'd really have to talk over with the engineer that did the Phase 1 study and his recommendations, and,
Not so much a solution, but perhaps.
a stop,
To
not,
buy us some time.
Buy some
us a
time.
little time, yeah, yes, I agree with Roger.
Future evaluations of the dam.
Right. so,
Everybody, thank you so much
Thanks for
for
coming.
your interest in
Thank
this
you.
situation.
thanks.
Appreciate your help. And again, anyone that wants to volunteer to help assist looking for grant money, certainly, please, you're more than welcome to help us.
When would you need to know anything about?
Well,
It's,
I would like, Dory, I'd like you to work with Amanda Smith. She's not here tonight, but she's kind of taken the lead on the grant writing end of this. She actually is working for the Conservation Commission in Lincoln, Mass. So she has a fairly long commute, which is about a 2-hour commute. But maybe we can have you chat with her and you can work directly with Amanda.
Leave my number and
Yes,
then,
please, if you would, please, thank you.
And,
Dory,
and,
320-1588, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
It's
Dom,
on there.
you're,
Thank
you're
you.
Dory, correct? Okay. Is this your phone number right here?
state senator's office is not.
That's good, Dory, okay.
Sorry.
I'll send that to Amanda and she'll be in contact with you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for coming in. All the best. Good luck. How's your house doing, okay? Do you need to underpin your foundation? Does it need to be underpinned? Hmm?
It's just an addition,
It is, okay.
but I do have a 4-foot.
Okay,
They never
okay.
4-foot. So,
Because if you need to use like helical piles or helical piers, I've got a friend of mine in Boston that does those, you can talk to.
I've gotten it, I got an estimate to have the whole job done complete,
Yeah,
with block and.
Yeah,
for it and
yeah,
everything.
okay.
I had the building inspector out to the property. He basically told me I had to talk to you.
Okay.
Or have the board of selectmen or conservation out to survey the property because of the water. We've been there, you already know my
I know
situation.
exactly where it is.
So, what would I have to do as far as full permit for that foundation?
You might need
And,
RDA at
You'd
least.
probably need, we'd like to do the short form permit, the RDA, which is a very simple permit. And if you can actually prepare the form yourself.
Yeah.
And you go online, go on the DEP website, look for Form 1, Wetlands and Waterways Permits, Form 1. It's called RDA, Request for Determination of Applicability.
Okay.
And bring it in and we'll help you fill it out.
Okay.
That'll be easy for us to do, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, thanks for coming in.
Have a great night.
are we
You too,
liable
thank you.
for fixing
We are.
his house?
Huh?
Are we liable for fixing his
No,
house?
I'm not fixing it.
If the dam failures cause.
I don't know. Anyways. 7:30, appointments and public hearings. 7 o'clock, an RDA filed by Department of Conservation and Recreation to see whether the work depicted on plans referenced is subject to the Wetlands Protection Act in regards to property located on Green Meadow Lane in the town of Granby.
Move to continue.
They've asked for continuation, so I will second that motion, so that will be continued to the next meeting, same time.
July, what's that, July 24th, right?
24, yes.
24th.
Yes.
7:45, I've got a notice of intent filed by Mark Pio, PC Development LLC for proposed construction of a residential subdivision and associated stormwater management structures. The roadway will require a wetland fill and open channel crossing with regards to property located on Carver Street, known as map 16B 15.4 and 16 in the town of Granby.
Is that Munson Ridge?
Munson Ridge, same.
So we could put a note there, they have extension from the planning board to, what, November?
That, November,
Move to continue.
the planning board at this, yeah, that's fine. Continued to the next meeting of
24.
July 24th at the same time, please. DCR Forge Pond, I think we just went over that with the abutters. We can
Yep.
continue that to the next meeting. Do we have phase 2 started on that? No, we haven't even got, do we need to have an RFP out for that? Is there selectmen, are the selectmen?
Chris Martin and the selectmen are writing, they have to write the RFP.
That's correct.
We're out of the loop, so.
So the selectmen are doing
Yeah,
the
they're in
request,
charge.
that's fine.
Yeah.
I have a Kestrel Trust, 307 Chicopee Street. That's another informal discussion, so I don't see that
Continue?
before us.
That was the alleged encroachment, which I guess
They're
has been
not here.
resolved. So just put down, continue.
That's something that Amanda was
Yeah,
working
she's
on.
working on
Certificate of Compliance, Children's First, continued again. They are not ready.
I
They have
haven't
not
heard
been
from
through
them.
2 growing seasons.
98 Cold Hill, are we done with that one?
98 Cold Hill, I do not know.
that. I went by there the other day. Things are growing in. I don't see too much activity.
I haven't heard any from anyone at 98 Cold Hill.
Apparently Kevin Brooks is on the cusp of being retained by
Yeah.
Mr.
Colette, but I
Colette.
don't think
Yeah.
he's signed the contract yet.
So we're gonna continue that or leave it?
Sure.
Continue.
7 Phillips Circle complaint.
I got a call from Al Weiss. He has delineated and flagged the area, so I'd like to set up a site visit for
Okay.
us all to go out there, if you wanna do that, like on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, I'm around, so.
You wanna do that Ed, Saturday morning?
Talk, maybe Amanda could help on that.
Yeah. Because we're gonna have to do some, again, some auger holes, just to confirm
So-
the hydric soils.
I think I'm gonna leave that up to you and Amanda and
It's fine, and
Wenda.
Wenda, we can do that.
You're the more of the experts on the soil.
And then Al Weiss will come out.
And Patty might wanna come out.
Yeah, Patty will come out.
That's fine.
Actually, Al said he's not coming out because he doesn't wanna spend the client's money.
Yeah.
So he wants us to look at it and opine, and then have him come to the meeting, and then we'll negotiate any changes that need to be negotiated.
Yeah, because we were talking about how he put all the,
Yeah, because I
that
think.
stuff in
I
the
think-
wetlands
Yeah,
and
I think
planted
Al
plants.
said that the line is indeed up the hill a little bit, so. I think
Okay,
he's
that's
fine. Yeah,
fine.
so anyway, we'll discuss.
We'll talk about
Let's do a
that.
site visit
Site
on
visit.
Saturday. I'll send an email out to
You
that
can
effect.
talk, send an email out to
Yeah.
Amanda. You can,
Yeah.
just put everybody in the loop, see
Yeah,
when they.
yeah. We'll see who gets
I
out
can't
there.
do it this weekend.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
The
I'm gonna be
following weekend.
around, so do
You
we
are?
wanna
Okay.
tentatively set something
Yeah,
up for?
yeah, 9 o'clock Saturday morning.
This Saturday, just shoot out an email.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you.
What else?
Discussion, update, Mass DOT, 202 roundabout, 5 corners. I don't see Mass DOT here. They have not filed any RDAs or notice of intents as of
I
yet.
talked to Chris Martin, and what was it now? Oh, Engineer Feng wanted a letter of, not approval, but a letter of support for that project.
Sure.
And remember I sent.
Yeah, I thought we had sent that
Yeah,
out.
apparently it's not signed, so I'm gonna have to get a copy of that letter. We're gonna have to sign it and send it to
Okay.
her. She wants a signed letter, but Chris said, we have the power to sign that ourselves, selectmen don't have to sign that. We can do it ourselves.
Okay.
So it's a letter of support, just.
Is that what Chris said to you?
Yeah.
Did he say
I-
that to
I
you
met-
by email?
No, I met with him in person in his office
Just have him,
last
I
week.
would have him send that by email to you.
Yeah,
Say,
Well, we gotta sign it, so,
yeah, we'll sign it.
I don't mind signing because it's.
so can we put a note on there for Kathy to put that in our folder for next time? That letter, so we can sign it?
Yeah, why don't you,
There.
write that up. Just put that on the note. Write that up.
What's the note? It's,
Just say, please,
Print out Mass
please
DOT.
print out, draft, letter of support from Conservation Commission, RE roundabout project at 202 on School
School.
Street.
And 5 corners.
4, 5.
I'm not sure why they would need support letter on 5
No,
corners.
you don't, you just need it for the.
Just for School Street
Yeah,
and
just need it for
and
that.
202. Okay. Okay, we just went through all our public hearings and appointments.
2.
Before we go too much further, are you here for anything particular?
No, actually, I'm interested in hearing about
Oh.
Fort Pond, also about the roundabout, the status.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Some of them are.
Yeah, 'cause-
You know, the theory was, do you want to do a traffic light there, or you'd rather do a roundabout? Eddie and I have been in the engineering business collectively for probably 80 years. And my feeling is, I think it's safer to have a roundabout than a traffic light. Because if a kid wants to be a turkey, they'll run a red light. But if you run a roundabout, you're just gonna kill yourself. That's my feeling.
Well, and they seem to work well over by,
Atkins, yeah.
Yes,
That's-
yes, same sort of design, very similar.
Mass DOT is kind of leaning towards that direction now.
They like those,
less expensive, you know.
In the long term, yeah.
yeah, long-term they are.
As far as light maintenance and
Yeah, and
traffic
again,
scheduling.
and it saves gasoline, it saves pollution, and stuff like that.
So that's what that's, and you're,
You wanna
Seen
take some
this?
trees down,
I do wanna take some trees down on 21 Fairfield Road,
near the street or out in the back?
well, actually on, actually like in the back and on the street I need, you know what I mean, I need approval on 21 Fairhill Road, Granby. I'm not sure if the building inspector had approved it yet, you know what I mean, that is.
And the reason is, north of your house, down the slope, there's some phragmites, which are, sometimes they're wetland plants, sometimes they're not. But there is some plants that show wetland characteristics.
Well, you know what I mean, like, when my parents had bought the house in 1992,
You know,
we had this really, our house is built like 1920.
because you do have a lot of trees over the garage.
We do,
And there's a lot of shade in your yard, tremendous amount of shade.
Yeah, the reason we want the trees cut down is because, okay, trees have been there for like, what, 100, 200 years?
So it's like safety hazard.
It is a safety hazard. We're thinking of just getting cutting one part of the trees down and another part like they did over there, like not all at once. Get a physics and, you know what I mean, a physics estimate of like where the tree will fall and go from like there's an old Christmas tree in the center of our yard.
what
Sure.
I would.
Can you
su-
bring in some pictures
Yeah.
to next meeting?
I
I
would,
have pictures of the trees actually.
Okay, let's look at them.
Gotta find them.
Now, you're gonna do this yourself, you're gonna have a professional do it.
I'm gonna take you to me. I'm gonna like you to me. I'm gonna take some really good photos on my phone, and I'll have my boss Shana, which she's done like cutting down trees to do frames and has permits for that. Shana Humphreys in the Preservation and Conservation Committee.
Okay.
She is taking pictures of that, so I will ask her if she will go with me to my yard when she gets back on vacation. It's
and
the only reason. I'm
mark the trees, take some pictures of them.
You know, we'll take a look at it.
All right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. That's
What
good, yeah, mark them up, put ribbons around them or bows around them or something.
about spray paint, or is that not allowed?
Well, I like tape that you can remove.
Yeah, because if you don't cut the tree down, then you got a tree that's
right.
painted.
That looks,
No, that's really weird. My you know what I mean? There's one tree that's a lot of termites.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
by our driveway, and that is becoming
Alright.
a safety hazard.
Yeah.
all
And plus, my 6-year-old nephew had
Yeah.
spray painted it, so I'm gonna.
Sure.
right, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So when's the next meeting? July 24th?
Yes,
All right. So what's the other meetings today? Is that it?
July 24th, I'm not sure, after that it'll be August,
it'll be the second Tuesday in August, which is August 14th.
So we're supposed to.
So we're gonna
sign
meet on
when
August
we
14th and August
sign when we see
28th.
these things.
And it'll be in July 24th as well.
Yes.
All right, I'll be at all 3 of those meetings.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Okay, I've got some, let's go through these, administrative duties continued. Outreach Plant Week, I'm gonna skip. Notice,
For outreach, we can do this. Amanda and I went to this training, so we can discuss that on the 24th if Amanda's
Yeah.
here.
Oh, you did go to
We
that?
both went,
Oh,
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Did you find some neat stuff?
Yeah, it was interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got a letter here dated June 12th, 2018, from the town of Granby to Attorney John P. DeCruz, 119 Windsor Street, Ludlow, Mass. 01056, regarding PC Development LLC project, Munson Estates subdivision. Dear Attorney Cruz, the Granby Planning Board, at its May 29th meeting, addressed your request and extension of the conditions of definitive subdivision plan approval for the Munson Estate subdivision. The Granby Planning Board discussed your request and voted unanimously to approve a 6-month extension of the conditions of the definitive subdivision plan approval. The 6-month extension will expire November 29th, 2018. If If you have any questions, please contact the planning board at 413-467-7177.
Now, here's the issue.
Sincerely, Greg.
They-
Let's
they
assume,
extend it for
let's
6
assume
months.
that this date is gonna pass without approval from DEP, then what happens?
Then
Do they have to refile the whole, they
everything.
gotta refile the whole project?
Yep, yep,
Wow,
yeah, so, they think they're gonna get everything straightened out by then
Wow.
through us,
wow.
so.
I don't know, that's a DEP thing, I guess, is the whole,
Yeah,
not us.
DEP, yeah, Fowlis's work, they got a big issue with stormwater there, and Fowlis is taking care of
See
himself.
today's date in red.
Fowlis is taking care of himself. It's Dave Fowlis's baby.
Initial that we received it.
Yep, yep. So we're gonna have to refile, which is gonna cost another pile of money.
Got a letter here, public hearing notice, public hearing July 23rd, 2018 at 6:15 in the Old Carnegie Library, top floor, 1 Library Lane, Granby, Mass, to consider the application of Borrego Solar Systems, Inc., 55 Technology Drive, Suite 102, Lowell, Mass. 01851, for a special permit and site plan approval as required under the following sections of the Granby zoning bylaw. Section 3, Table 1, Schedule Use Regulations. Section 5.99, large-scale ground-mounted photovoltaic installation. Section 6.2, Special Permits. Section 6.3, Site Plan Approval. The applicant proposed to install a 6.2 megawatt direct current DC ground-mounted solar photovoltaic facility on approximately 30-acre portion of land located at 0 Kendall Street, Assessor's Map ID 8-B-5, owned by Breezy Acre LLC of 25 Pleasant
Oh,
Street.
that's the old Lyman farm, that's
Yeah,
the old Lyman farm.
which is located within the residential
Oh, they're
district.
putting a big one up there, wow.
This is it,
That's it.
Wow.
So I'm gonna mark this that we received it.
and
Holy
here's our
cow.
plans.
Wow,
We're supposed to take a look.
it's a big
We're-
boy,
We're supposed to
6.2.
look at this and let them know if there's any problems by the 20th. So we have to, because our next
Well,
meeting.
again, we're gonna hire a peer reviewer and have him escrow 10,000
All
like
right,
everybody
so we need
else
to
does.
put that on there, that we have to hire a peer review
Of
to
course.
look at it.
Yeah, of course.
There's 2 wetlands. Okay.
You know what's happening to AC line voltage in town? Have you been monitoring it? Yes. You need more reactive energy. You gotta create reactive energy. You gotta put capacitors on the poles. National Grid's having a tough time regulating the voltage.
So when you go up the
Here's
hill
Dufrane's, here's Dufrane's.
Yeah,
Big challenge in Australia.
It's up on the hill.
They're gonna
Yeah,
have voltage
when you go
collapse,
to
you have
like
what
we
they
got
call
the donuts
voltage
is?
collapse.
Breezy Acres is
Everything
on the
goes
right.
That's
down.
totally different area,
Okay.
totally different.
So
That's why
we're,
actually National Grid likes small systems, because they produce a lot of reactive power. And
All right,
reactive
so we
power
need to
tends to
put a note
stabilize
on
the
there that we
voltage.
have to get a peer review to approve this?
I think they need to file at minimum an RDA.
Okay,
They need to file an RDA, I'm guessing,
okay, so we need to
right?
put it,
They got some wetlands on the site.
Again, I
so
know
we
nothing
need to
about
put,
that site. I
we
know
gotta
nothing about
put the
that
notes
site.
right on there?
I don't know, Will,
Actually, 0 Kendall, so it's the corner of Kendall and School Street? Or Chicopee Street? Is there a locust map there? Yes, yeah. I just don't know where that is.
what's today, the 10th? I'm gonna just say, that they need to file with the Conservation Commission. It's either gonna be under an RDA, NOI, or a building permit. You've got,
Yeah,
they're gonna need to file with the Conservation Bill.
yeah.
I'm not exactly sure what permit. I don't wanna say.
Yeah, I
it
don't
needs
even
to
know
be-
where this is. Where is this?
Here's Dufrane's.
Oh, oh,
This is the gravel pit down here, Lavoie's.
oh, this is.
This is on the hillside.
Oh, this is the old Hatch Hill. This is all Clifford Hatch.
So-
Clifford and the Hatch folks. Oh,
You
that's
may have some
Hatch's.
stormwater issues up there, you
Oh,
may
yeah,
have a
it's
lot
very
of things.
steep. It's very steep
So
there.
we need to, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So,
So
You
do
know-
we wanna
you know
put
what they're gonna have to
stormwater
do?
issues too?
You know how many trees they're gonna cut on this hill? Thousands.
again,
Lot
they
of
need to
tree
file with the
cutting.
conservation, I don't know what
And they're
permit.
gonna need,
Look at the
yeah,
photo.
all kinds
Initial.
of,
Look at the trees. Oh, yeah, it's gonna be a big project.
Well, we don't know, let's, either they come in and file with us,
Look at the terrain, look at this.
and we can see what needs to be done.
300 to 460. Yep. Oh, yeah, wetlands there.
They may be isolated, they may not be, again, I don't wanna make a determination
Oh, no.
just by looking at the plans
Yeah,
right
no.
now.
All right.
Again, we're gonna hire a peer reviewer.
do we wanna
Initial?
put, oh, all right.
Let them deal with it. That's what they get paid for.
Initial that,
So I don't know, do you think Kathy's coming by and checking this? or
she
not?
will. It's just initially, they need to file with us some kind of permit, I'm not gonna make a decision as far as what permit needs to be filed. It's not our call,
Yeah. Before, they have to come in front of us.
Oh, yeah.
So up here, here's the rubber band.
don't hit me with that. It's that.
All right.
Everybody has seen this letter
Oh,
from
that's the one. that-
Ferry,
Yeah, that's the
What?
one, the guy that put in the clandestine barn.
Ferry Hill Road.
I have a question
What's going
about
on
that. I have a
Very good.
question about that.
I
How
know.
did that come to light?
I don't know. I don't even know if they had a building permit from us. It doesn't look familiar to me.
No, we didn't permit that. Greg wants us to take a look at it.
Well, we need permission to get on the property.
Well, see, that's the whole point. The whole point is, how did anyone even know about that? Because that parcel is out in the middle of nowhere. No one from the street can see that
I think he
parcel.
took a building permit. There was a special permit with that already,
was?
already approved, but it had changed.
So it essentially required an inspection.
A modification.
By somebody, okay.
It required a special permit because I think the size of the barn was in excess of the.
1,000 square feet, yeah.
Whatever the code was. So I'm gonna,
And I think there's an issue that they're offering entertainment. It's like an assembly building. They're actually charging people to attend the horse equestrian events. They're
That's-
charging people.
not my call.
That's what it's alleging anyway.
All right, want me to read that in real quick, or just,
Nah, it's
I was
that's
trying to read
fine.
it.
I read it.
I'll give it, I'm just gonna make a
Just
note.
paraphrase it. Give it the 30-second paraphrase.
I received this letter by email, and all the other commissioners, if I remember correctly, were also CC'd on the email regarding site plan approval for 59 Ferry Hill Road, horse barn. We'll need to talk to the building inspector and see what he wants us to do. He had made a comment about some potential wetland issues close to the activity, so
Oh, write that Dory Gollins phone number.
I have it.
And her spelling of her name so I can send it to Amanda.
Sure.
Yeah, put it on a green,
Yeah, put it
green
on your-
pad. Yeah, just write it down for me. Thank you. Her name and the phone number.
GAUL.
See, it's actually good to have a resident help pursue the grant application.
Initial.
You know that, Ed?
I agree.
It's smart to have that.
If there's a
So
subcommittee,
there's wetlands on the property?
potential,
Okay.
That's what I've heard.
he's,
Thank you.
that's your, Mr.,
Yeah.
just initial it there, that we received it, read it. You should have received that by email.
Yeah,
If
well, I
not,
haven't been on email in 2 weeks.
Okay.
My iPad is in Vermont.
that's fine.
Or in New Hampshire at a.
Okay, I got a July 3rd letter here from the town clerk. To the July 3rd, 2018, from the town of Granby clerk to the Conservation Commission. It's important that each board, committee, or commission annually update their department changes and file those changes with the town clerk. It is imperative to have the right contact persons on file. Even if there are no changes being made to your board, committee, or commission, a list should be submitted annually at the beginning of the fiscal year to keep town records up to date. Once the board, committee, or commission has voted on the new officers, please submit those changes to the town clerk. Thank you in advance for this attention. This is regards to chair, vice chair, secretary,
We'll
treasurer.
reorganize when we get
We have more members.
people, yeah. we
What
have
is
more
this?
people here.
We have to vote on who wants to be the chair, vice chair, clerk, secretary, stuff like that, treasurer.
Well, we haven't had a.
There's no treasurer because
and a
we don't.
Secretary for about 5 years.
Secretary? No. I think we've had, but it's,
We had a treasurer at one
Yeah.
time.
so,
Anyway, let's wait till we get 5 folks and then we can discuss it.
We will discuss at July 24th meeting.
can do.
Yeah, if people show up.
Show received.
All right. Is that it then?
I hope so.
I move that we adjourn.
We can do that. There's a motion on the table to adjourn. Do you have anything else you want to add?
I'll just try and read this.
Sure.
Jeff, any
I
comments?
guess we can
How you doing?
adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
Second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye.